Trump's back in royal style as Britain rolls out unprecedented pomp at Windsor, chasing billion-dollar tech and nuclear deals, while Starmer battles political storms. Behind the scenes and crowns, a high-stakes games wooing Trump to stand firm on Putin, ease tariffs, and forget the Epstein shadows. Protests rage, Davy boycotts, giants like OpenAI pledge billions, but is this diplomacy or a dazzling investment pitch wrapped in monarchy? The real deal? They're signed behind closed doors. Welcome to Ink Tank.
Our world is becoming unhinged.
The New York Times has reported that in a rare diplomatic move, U.S. President Trump's second state visit to the United Kingdom, hosted by King Charles, signals a strategic shift and effort to strengthen the Anglo-American relationship. This high-profile visit, full of royal ceremonies, serves as a crucial political tool. From a geopolitical standpoint, the invitation from Prime Minister Starmer is a calculated diplomatic gesture. It aims to build a strong personal relationship with the American president, ensuring continued alignment on key foreign policy issues, especially regarding the war in Ukraine. This visit, despite public protests, transcends mere pageantry. It is a fundamental effort to secure future cooperation and cement the special relationship between the two nations, a vital objective in today's complex international landscape. And according to the Washington Post, the focus on royal etiquette for President Trump's visit to Britain highlights the critical role of soft power in international relations. The primer on protocol isn't just about manners, it's a diplomatic tool demonstrating respect for a nation's history and traditions. Past incidents with U.S. presidents show that small missteps can carry significant political weight. From a bow to a handshake, every detail is scrutinized, underscoring that diplomacy is a performance where symbolic actions are as important as official talks. Ultimately, the success of this visit hinges on both political substance and flawless execution of protocol. Adhering to these unwritten rules is essential for solidifying bonds and avoiding misunderstandings that could easily undermine the entire diplomatic effort. Moving to The Guardian, has highlighted that President Trump's arrival in Windsor for the state visit is a high-level diplomatic event featuring royal ceremonies and carriage processions. The visit, while a sign of strong bilateral ties, is unfolding against a complex backdrop of public and geopolitical tensions. The visit has spurred protests with a more serious tone than before, directly linking public anger at political systems to the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. This demonstrates how events in the Middle East are now a central component of political discourse in the West. Ultimately, the official royal welcome stands in stark contrast to the public discontent, revealing a significant divide. This underscores the challenge Western governments face in navigating foreign policy while addressing a more aware and critical public. Pomp, protest, and high-stakes diplomacy. Trump's unprecedented second UK state visit unfolds amid royal splendor and political storm.
U.S. President Donald Trump touched down in Britain for an unprecedented second state visit. But behind the royal spectacle lies a high-stakes game of diplomacy, trade, and political survival. In just 2 weeks, Starmer forced out his deputy over the tax scandal, then sacked his U.S. ambassador Peter Mandelson over ties to Jeffrey Epstein. A visit designed for distraction is now under a shadow. So, what does Starmer want? Simple. A firmer U.S. stance on Ukraine and crucial trade concessions, especially the removal of punitive 25% steel and aluminum tariffs, a deal still frustratingly on hold. And Trump, he's here with business. A $42 billion tech prosperity deal is unveiled. Microsoft, Google, Nvidia, OpenAI, pledging billions. Is this visit a state dinner or a global investment conference? Experts warn Britain needs Trump on side. Unpredictable, yes, but a powerful ally for trade and crucially on the global stage, especially regarding Putin. The monarchy, a silent player. King Charles' invitation is a calculated move, a diplomatic tool, a symbol of continuity and prestige, tailored for a president who revels in spectacle. As Trump dines with kings, behind the gilded doors, the real negotiations begin. A vanity trip or a masterstroke of realpolitik?
To provide more analysis, joining us from Washington is Mr. Brent Sadler, a former Pentagon official, and from London, Dr. Mohsen Salamouni, political economist and professor at London University. Thank you both for joining me here on Think Tank. Let's start off with you, Mr. Sadler. How does London's grand royal welcome for Trump translate into a more committed U.S. security position towards Putin's position in Ukraine?
Yeah, thanks for the chance to talk on this topic. Very timely. I think it's important that the pomp and circumstance that was detailed is definitely an outward symbol of how deep and how much respect the United Kingdom is showing to the United States, personified in President Trump, something that President Trump takes very seriously as he tries to ensure that America's position in the world is again acknowledged and is respected. In some cases, we've seen that erode in the past. On the issue of Ukraine, Britain, of course, is a key player more broadly in very deeply shared national security interest. Whether or not this bilateral relationship, is enough to lead NATO or other European countries to more aggressive economic sanctions will be seen. But very clearly, there is a trend to provide more weapons to Ukraine, to make it more costly for Putin to continue waging his war. But that in itself won't be enough. And there's a lot more at stake and a lot more common interest in economics as well as culturally that bind the United States and the UK together that I think will also be top of the discussions.
Yes. Well, if we can get Dr. Salamouni's opinion here as well. You heard Mrs. Sadler talking about the other aspects of this visit, like the investment conference and the diplomatic suite, basically. How essential is this to be secured for the Starmer government and for the UK when it comes to economic and technology deals?
The visit of Mr. Trump to United Kingdom, actually, it came in the right time for the Prime Minister of England, Mr. Keir Starmer. Why that is important? United States and United Kingdom, they are very, very close allies. And also, in the same time, I believe the foreign policy of United States in Europe and the Middle East and some other part of Africa, it's very close to the foreign policy of United Kingdom. And the United States require the friendship and the close friendship and the close, relationship with United Kingdom. Therefore, the visit of Mr. Trump today, it's about political power, it's about investment, and it's about also the tariff. Mr. Trump has promised that on the about 6 years ago, when he was in power, that if United Kingdom came out of Europe, that it will be a 300 billion of trade deal with United Kingdom. This has not materialized because, number one, Mr. Trump left. Today, Mr. Trump, he is trying to assure that United Kingdom, there is some of sort of deal. They started on the first stage. It could be reached to 40 billion, but they expect it to go in very close to the 100 million. The investment here, it is very important to United Kingdom at that time. And after that, we'll touch on Mr. Keith, the Prime Minister of England, about the situation he is. The deal, it's about investment, financial investment, technology here, and is very important. And also the Microsoft, Google's, and NVIDIA, and OpenAI, AI, are all they going to invest and help with the technology of in UK. Also, some of the big financial institution is going to reinvest again and come the United Kingdom market there. Also, there is an investment in the nuclear, civil nuclear, and building reactor there, joint reactor between UK. And also on the tariff, UK looking to have an agreement, free agreement, trade agreement between United States and United Kingdom. But Mr. Trump, he said he is prepared to reduce the tariff between United Kingdom and UK, but he's not prepared yet to give the free trade agreement. And also, in the same time, Mr. Trump expected something very important, expecting that the taxation, the high taxation on this digital service to be cut, especially on companies like Google, Microsoft. Those are companies which they need to cut the taxation there and open the market, the UK market, especially for agriculture, to United States market.
Okay, if we could get, I'm sorry if I'm cutting you off there, but if you could also get Mr. Sadler's opinion on this. Like, you heard Dr. Salamuni talking about the idea of tech being a big thing when it comes to the deals that are going to be made between Starmer and Trump, basically, and that Trump promised post-Brexit that there'll be more strategic, economic deals between the two countries. Do you think this is going to actually translate into a reality? And what's the difference between Trump's 2019 visit and this year's visit?
Yes, there's a lot there that I agree with. Clearly, the economics with the Brexit in Trump's first term was very much front of mind, and trying to find a way to seal a free trade agreement with the UK and take advantage of UK's departure from the European Union. We haven't seen much development in that. We could be surprised on some of the deals that might come out of this negotiation or out of these meetings. And perhaps there might be a re-energized vigor to try to get to that goal of a free trade agreement more comprehensively. But I would also add, there's in the technology sphere, there's also the AUKUS, the Australia, UK, US nuclear submarine deal that I think also is agitating for a lot more action and tech transfer, and also co-investment and development. In this case, it's for national security reasons, and again, something the US and the UK are standing on many, many decades of shared common interest on, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see something in that sector as well.
Okay, Dr. Salamuni, now if we could talk about something else here when it comes to the political scandals that have hit the Starmer government. As well as, the Epstein affair threatening to overshadow the visit and the economic agenda. We've seen, protesters come out and project images of President Trump along with Epstein. How will this affect this visit?
In my opinion, this visit is a very good visit because it has diverted attention to the visit of Mr. Trump, and what Mr. Trump going to offer to United Kingdom. And it taken the attention from Mr. Keir Starmer, right, his political position and the weakness of his political decision right now. The market looks and values Mr. Starmer as, number one, his deputy has committed something which is not very good, and especially which is not acceptable in the market, in the financial market, which they are to try in a way, okay, the word using a difficult word, it's like, to avoid paying taxation, not say the word which is really other word than that. That's not nice for a very good deputy leader to do that and also lie on that taxation. This was something, a very big blow to Mr. Keir Starmer himself, and very big blow to himself as a prime minister too, which is supposed to be the choice. It's to be top choice. The second choice, appointing the ambassador of United Kingdom, to United States, who has a previous relationship and a very, very strong relationship with the pedophile, Mr. Jeffrey Epstein. Those are a very serious decisions there. Plus, there is some economic problem in UK right now. In terms of the Treasury Minister of UK and the high taxation which he put on the really the non-domestic businessmen in UK there, and the moving lots of companies, really big value company from out of UK to another market who gives them the taxation, free taxation there and producing. That is cost. I mean, this movement and the high taxation move, it cost the taxpayer about 12.5 billion. Instead of they say that we're going to make in the market 33 billion from taxation. Those type of decision, an economic decision and financial market, and they've taken, under the umbrella of Mr. Keir Starmer is not good. But now, the visit of Mr. Trump coming there and offering those deals, and is really strengthening to that, is strengthening the position and the relationship and divert lots of attention on this. But we have to look what United States looking for, all right? As my colleague on the other side there, he's talking there, there is two outstanding, a very important situation today. Is the Russian-Ukraine war, the Gaza, Israel war in Gaza, all right? And the close eyes, of giving their back United States to Israel, for killing those women and the children under the name of fighting Hamas. This, which is the whole world today, is not accepting that. Yes. But America and Mr. Trump personally, is not doing anything about that. And he wants the support of United Kingdom on this matter. And he does want a United Kingdom not to recognize the two-state of government in the Middle East between Israel and the Palestine. This is a really very, very sticky situation.
This is the sticking point there. Well, if we could get Mr. Sadr's opinion here. Now, you heard Dr. Salamuni talking about, how the scandals, hitting the Starmer government has foreshadowed this visit, in addition to obviously seeing images of, Donald Trump with Jeffrey Epstein all over the UK. How do you think this may affect the visit, and how do you think that, this connects to how the average, UK citizen feels about what's happening, like he said there, Dr. Salamuni, across in the Middle East as well as Ukraine?
Yeah, I'm not sure this visit's going to play as positive a role or even a distraction from all of the very well-earned negative political attention that the prime minister has drawn. President Trump will very clearly double down on his message of defeating Hamas, and that the way forward has to be one in which there is a responsible and trustworthy Palestinian new leadership in Gaza before anything can be done there towards a two-state solution, which no one has walked away from. It's just the time is not right in the middle of this conflict. So no ground will be given on that. I would think that would be a very politically unfavorable position for the prime minister if he tries to make that publicly a point of contention this trip. The second one, it comes to Ukraine. There might be some ground there for common ground to push more pressure on Moscow. But when it comes to another issue that's very sticky here in the United States, and that is personal liberties and free speech, there's certainly a very raw nerve on that. And what we see and happening in the UK right now is not something that Americans see favorably. And Trump would probably echo that. So if issues of political positions on free speech or social media, and some of the riots and protests that we've seen come up, the prime minister will probably face a very sharp rebuke from President Trump in this topic, because as the view from here in the United States, it's an infringement on basic human rights of freedom to assemble and freedom of speech. And this was a message that our vice president gave at the Munich conference not too long ago in Germany.
Well, Mr. Sadler, earlier on in the interview, you mentioned, the UK, Australia, US deal when it comes to nuclear submarines and so forth. Let's talk about nuclear energy here. Now, considering the golden age of the nuclear energy rhetoric, what specific military and security cooperation does the UK seek from the US in this domain, and how does the UK, its pursuit for a nuclear power partnership with the US, aim to reduce reliance on Russian material and strengthening Western energy security as well?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole nother discussion in here about the provision or where you source the uranium that you refine for the commercial and military uses of nuclear power. We're talking about propulsion, not weapons in this case. And so this is a case where the UK and the prime minister, if he wishes to focus on, it's a very easy win, because there's so many decades of interest, common interest in nuclear submarine development that goes back to the 50s. It's in fact this bilateral relationship, the US-UK, that the Australians were tapping into with this AUKUS nuclear submarine deal that the last administration launched in September of 2021. So it's an easy win. It's also one at a time where the United States is going through its own review of this initiative, and where if the UK can make more commitments to ensure that its success, most notably in the development of a next generation nuclear submarine, and also the provision of some of the subsystems that are needed for this submarine class to be developed, it might be just the added incentive to keep that initiative in the positive side of the ledger. But again, it's a very easy win from my perspective, should the prime minister wish to double down on that aspect of the bilateral relationship. And that's the national security one.
Okay, that's Dr. Sadler. Now, what's your opinion here? What is the true political significance of the escalating protests that are directly linking Trump's visit to, the escalations in Gaza, and him doubling down on the idea of not having Hamas there and so forth? Is this a sign of a failing political system, especially in the Western Hemisphere? Like in the UK, we've seen protests, and in the US, we've seen protests.
I believe Mr. Trump has succeeded in dividing the whole world. Number one, what is going in Gaza, it is completely non-acceptable and is out of order. And seeing the children and seeing the women being killed under the name of fighting Hamas, under the name of war. Israel is not fighting any war. There is nobody is fighting with. The only thing which he's doing is killing those people. That's one thing that's important, and Mr. Trump is failing to do that. Mr. Trump is assisting Israel to do that, and is forcing the Middle East, and unfortunately is forcing the Gulf area, which is Saudi Arabia, Emirates, Qatar. All right, he just have taken from them $5.1 trillion under the name of investment. That was out of order, because I don't see this as an investment, as a very good professor, or as a good economist there. On the other hand, 3 or 4 days ago, all right, Qatar has the biggest, military station in Qatar there. And also Qatar invested around 16 billion in the air defense station in Qatar. and still Israel managed to send, a rocket hitting in the middle of Qatar. That is non-acceptable. And in my opinion, if I was in the Qatar leader, all right, I'm just saying on that because this was not acceptable. I will straight away shut that station and I will ask the American forces in Qatar there who's helping that to get out. But instead of doing that, okay, the Middle East countries, they had a big conference talking about what we're going to do and came out with 42, okay, decision to, or 42 to say what they're going to do. And in the same night, Israel went there and wiped, a big part of Gaza and, and those really poor people struggling there. I mean, how's the world going to see it economically or politically or not? Now, Europe, in order to secure themselves, the EU, what they have done, the EU realized there is a problem, okay, on the tariff and on the fighting trade war fight with America by signing the Mercosur agreement. The Mercosur agreement, as we all know, it is Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, Chile, and this economy, it's about 700 million people and the economy of about 4.3 trillion. And it's going to help Europe. And this agreement has been signed after 24 years. All the European countries was refusing to sign that. Now they've signed because they find themselves under threat. Also, we have to mention the BRICS, the new things which is coming in, and also this BRICS is going to be a threat to the domination and the threat of the control of the dollar in the whole world. The BRICS is becoming something very important and big. And also, the BRICS is becoming very stronger now, financially strong, because after Mr. Trump forced Saudi Arabia and forced Qatar and forced United Arab Emirates to part out with, from the sovereign fund, 5.1 trillion, what they have done, they've joined the BRICS fully there. And that is at what the BRICS in today, Saudi Arabia, Russia, and India, and Egypt, and the United Arab Emirates. Okay, do you have about 47% of the entire world, energy world, okay, of there?
Yes.
This is something.
Your point there, sir, is quite clear. I understand what you're trying to say, that things are not as stable as they were before Trump. But if we can get Mr. Sadler's opinion here as well, because we're running out of time. Now, the second state visit, why is it happening now? Is Trump using Britain as a pawn to distract from, the Ukraine wavering, or to cement a new Atlantic power? Because you heard Dr. Salamuni there talking about the idea of things becoming destabilized quite drastically since Trump took office.
Well, I think quite the opposite is true. Things are actually stabilizing. It was chaos that was brought about under the Biden era and opportunities of adversaries that made the attacks and the wars. I mean, every one of these wars were started previous to the inauguration of President Trump's second term. We'll see whether or not this trend continues towards peace, but I disagree with that characterization. But I do say the jury is still out. When it comes to this trip now, it's not President Trump inserting himself into UK politics. It takes both sides to agree on the timing and the offer of an invitation. So I would say it's also the British are looking at a way in which to use or to leverage the visit by President Trump. I think the prime minister may have misjudged very badly that topics like the Middle East will not play well to his popular base in the UK if he brings that up with Trump. And I would say it would be no surprise what the response will be. Likewise, on the economic side, there's probably good grounds there for good news to come out of it. But again, if it is looking for concessions from the U.S. without anything from the U.K. side, it'll probably fail. So 50-50 odds on that side. The place where there's the greatest potential of a good outcome is in the national security, like AUKUS and also looking at ways to apply more pressure on the Russians in Ukraine. But the Middle East, bad idea to bring up. Economics, perhaps in between. And we haven't talked about the Chagos deal, which I would imagine will be a very sharp point of contention that President Trump would deliver to the Prime Minister and to rebuke him on this offer of giving those islands where there's a U.S. base in the Indian Ocean.
Yes, okay, thank you so much for that, but we're out of time. That was Mr. Red Sadler, a former Pentagon official, and Dr. Mohsen Salamuni, a political economist professor at London University. Thank you both for your insights, and thank you for joining me here on Think Tank. Pomp dazzles, protests roar, but real power signed in silence. Britain gambles the throne for trade, and Trump plays along. That brings us to the end of today's episode of Think Tank, which always unveils the complexities of an ever-changing world. Thank you for watching. I'm Rehan Morsi. This was Think Tank.